In today's deep dive, we're uncovering the surprises around the newly revealed character with knowledge of Nika in Chapter 1095, and why this identity isn't as secret as we thought. The existence of Nika in the world of One Piece is shrouded in a deep mystery. This topic is a hotbed of discussion among fans, and our analysis today is sure to add some fresh insights. From the conversations between Kuma and Bonnie in Chapter 1095, new info on Nika has emerged, casting further suspicion on the world government's cover-up operations. We'll delve deeper into how the knowledge about Nika revealed so far will impact the story's trajectory. If this episode has brought you any new discoveries, I'd love for you to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Missed your favorite scene in my rundown? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's chat about it. Now, let's get right into it. First up, let's talk about Who's Who from the Beast Pirates Toby Roppo, the first character in the story to mention Nika. Makes you wonder, was Who's Who really the first to bring it up? Do you remember the scene where Nika's name was first dropped? During his fight with Jinbei, Who's Who shared a flashback, the first time Nika was mentioned. He bore a grudge against Luffy, linking it to the very fruit Luffy ate, the gum fruit, or as we now know, the human fruit. Model Nika. Who's Who was in charge of transporting the fruit 13 years ago, but his ship was raided by Shanks' red-haired pirates, and the fruit was stolen. He ended up imprisoned because of this blunder. While in jail, a guard told him to pray to Nika, and that's how he learned about the sun god Nika. At the time of the guarding mission, Who's Who thought of the fruit as just a rubber-producing fruit and had no idea about the legend of Nika, let alone its true significance. Though, in Who's Who's case, he knew about both gum fruit and Nika, but he hadn't connected the dots yet. After learning about Nika from the guard who later disappeared, Who's Who decided it was too risky to stay and made his escape. But his curiosity about Nika, a topic so taboo that even knowing it could get you eliminated, only grew. He attempted to extract more info from Jinbei, someone connected to slavery. Now, why did that guard know about Nika? It's speculated that the guard might have heard tales from former prisoners or seen them praying to Nika. It suggests that the guard himself only knew of Nika through hearsay. If he truly understood the gravity of Nika's lore, he wouldn't have recklessly mentioned it, especially since he was on the government side and would have been aware of such a dangerous name. He probably didn't expect to be silenced just for speaking Nika's name, indicating he didn't know much about the entity himself. But having witnessed prisoners praying to Nika, the god, he must have felt it was good advice for Who's Who too. Indeed, in Chapter 1095, Kuma's father also believes in Nika's salvation, dancing to Nika's rhythm. It wouldn't be a stretch to imagine other prisoners dancing to the same beat of liberation. But that leads to a spread of Nika's legend among the inmates. Could it be that within the One Piece world, there's a special prison for those who know about Nika, to prevent the spread of information? If so, there's no worry about leaks. Who's Who, after messing up with anything related to Nika, was locked up, and perhaps other prisoners there knew about Nika as well. That could be how the guard learned about it, yet he didn't realize it was a forbidden topic. Considering all this, there might just be a place in the world where only those who know about Nika are kept. This brings to mind the frozen figures at Punk Hazard, still shrouded in mystery. They looked like giants dressed in prisoner garb, possibly from the Buccaneers, known to have giant's blood. Since Kuma is referred to as the sole survivor, the others are likely not around anymore. Next up, let's turn to the second person in the know about Nika, and that's Jinbei. He was the one Who's Who had quizzed about Nika. Oh yeah, Jinbei was pressed by Who's Who to spill what he knew, with the claim, "The history of the fishmen is a history of slavery, right?" But Jinbei clapped back with, "I have nothing to tell you." Now, if he didn't know anything, a simple "I don't know" would have sufficed. Instead, he chose, "I have nothing to tell you." That choice of words has led many to speculate that Jinbei does know something about Nika. Moreover, we've uncovered connections between the fishmen and Joy Boy. Considering Joy Boy might have been a Nika awakener, it stands to reason that the fishman could be linked to Nika as well. Remember how Zanisha recognized the heartbeat of Luffy, who had awakened Nika's power, and said, "Joy Boy has returned"? So, it's a pretty safe bet that Joy Boy was an awakener of Nika. And let's not forget, Fishman Island is laden with Joy Boy relics like Noah's Ark, the apology letter to the Mermaid Princess, and Poseidon. The comment by Who's Who about the history of the fishmen being one of slavery suggests that the fishmen might have been born into bondage. This is strikingly similar to the newly introduced Buccaneers. Could it be that the fishmen, like the Buccaneers, inherited tales of the legendary warrior Nika and believed in him? But then, why don't the fishmen speak of Nika's name openly? It might be because they understood the gravity of Nika's existence. If uttering that name meant shouldering a destiny of slavery, it would make sense for a tribe's leader to spare their descendants that fate by not passing down Nika's legacy. Perhaps the fishmen chose to protect their people by deliberately not carrying on Nika's name. If that's the case, it's completely understandable why Jinbei would be furious with Who's Who's careless mention of Nika. Jinbei seems to know something about Nika, but pretends not to for the sake of his people. Moving on to the Buccaneers and their descendant Kuma, along with his daughter Bonnie. First off, it was Kuma's father who carried the Buccaneers' bloodline, who introduced him to the name Nika. After being enslaved and losing his mother, Kuma was told by his father that Nika would come to his rescue, filling him with hope. It's been revealed that within the Buccaneers' family line, Nika has been passed down as a liberating warrior for generations. Moreover, the Buccaneers are said to have committed a grave sin in the distant past. This suggests that during the Void Century, they could have been a part of a major kingdom that opposed what is now the world government. Because of these historical ties, the Buccaneers might have been aware of Nika's existence, honoring and passing down this knowledge through the ages. Supporting this, Kuma always carried a Bible dedicated to sun worship, implying that, as a family, they believed in and awaited the sun god Nika. There seems to be an unbreakable bond between the Buccaneers and Nika. Kuma also taught Bonnie about Nika and the Freedom Drum, so she's aware of Nika's existence. But she didn't seem to recognize Luffy's wanted poster in his Nika state, suggesting she only knows the rhythm of Nika as told by Kuma. Currently, Bonnie hasn't witnessed Luffy fighting in the form of Nika, nor heard the beat of Nika's heart. If she were to hear that rhythm, she might realize something significant. The story looks set to unfold with the Buccaneers at the center, shedding more light on Nika. Given Kuma's own survival from slavery to becoming a king, he's likely privy to some critical history that might be revealed in a flashback. Stay tuned for the pieces of the past to fall into place. Next up, we've got the Lunarian race, the lineage of Elber, also known as King of the Beasts Pirates. As we've seen, there are people like the Fishmen and the Buccaneers who are involved with Joy Boy, Nika, and the Ancient Kingdom on a tribal level. Elber, a Lunarian, was also depicted waiting for a certain man in Kaido's past recollections. We're led to think that this man might be Nika. Revisiting these flashbacks, one of Kaido's lines could also be translated to, "If Joy Boy is the Man King has been waiting for." It ties the story of Joy Boy to the Man King awaits. So it's speculated that the Man King awaited wasn't Joy Boy, but Nika instead. Since Joy Boy and Nika are believed to be the same person, it turns out King was waiting for Joy Boy after all. Perhaps in King's mind, Nika and Joy Boy weren't synonymous. King, solely for being a Lunarian, was captured by the government, and the situation was such that handing over information about the Lunarians would fetch a bounty of 100 million. This means the government was actively pursuing Lunarians, which very likely ties back to Nika, Joy Boy, and the mysteries of the Void Century. Imagine if King had witnessed Luffy awakening the powers of Nika. He might have sided with Luffy. But it seems King wasn't fully aware of Nika's appearance. As evidence, King seemed to think of Kaido as Joy Boy, and it appears he was captured by the government from a young age. In essence, he was taken before he could learn the details about Nika. If he had known more about Nika, he wouldn't have mistaken Kaido for Joy Boy, and the connection between Nika and Joy Boy would have been clear in his mind. So just like the Fishmen, the Lunarian race historically had ties with Nika, retaining some of the legend. However, it wasn't passed down in detail like with the Buccaneers. Perhaps there might have been Lunarians like King in God Valley. We might just find some clues in future episodes. Moving on, let's talk about someone who knows about Nika, Red-Haired Shanks, the boss of the Red-Haired Pirates, one of the 4 emperors. Shanks, as previously mentioned, is the very person who raided and stole the gum-gum fruit being transported by Who's Who. His significant reactions upon seeing Luffy's wanted poster, having awakened Nika's power, suggests he definitely knows something about Nika. What's more, the recently depicted Saint Garling bears a striking resemblance to Shanks, leading me to believe that Shanks is undeniably from a celestial dragon lineage. That means he's descended from Nika's enemies and might know something about that connection. Shanks has had audiences with the Five Elders and intentionally stole the gum-gum fruit from the government, indicating he may be privy to many truths. He was picked up in God Valley at the age of 1 and hasn't been to Laugh Tale. But it's plausible that he learned about Nika and the Celestial Dragons after the Roger Pirates disbanded. Shanks, during his apprenticeship with Roger Pirates, expressed a desire to see the world. On the day of Roger's execution, he told Buggy he had no current plans to head for Laugh Tale. This leads to the possibility that he learned something from Roger, who had returned from Laugh Tale. Perhaps he traveled the world to learn about his own lineage, the Celestial Dragons, and their connection to Nika. In essence, Shanks might have learned the world's secrets during his travels, which now influence his actions, like stealing the gum-gum fruit and saving Luffy. He might be acting based on what he learned about Nika's fight, why Nika opposed the government, and what the government did to the world. Looking forward to seeing Shanks' past in flashbacks. Next are the members of the Roger Pirates, including PirateKingGolD.Roger, who reached Laugh Tale. Roger, upon reaching Laugh Tale, lamented that he wished to have lived during the same era as Joy Boy, indicating that he learned the entire truth about him. Rayleigh also mentioned that they learned the entirety of history on that day. So it seems they uncovered the full scope of the world's history, including the Void Century, Joy Boy, Nika, and the world government. Odin's logbook also had entries like, what is the Void Century? Who are the D's? What are the ancient weapons? Therefore, it's highly likely that those of the Roger Pirates who reached Laugh Tale are aware of Nika. Odin planned to open Wano's borders before Joy Boy's return, suggesting the crew might have known about Nika. Rayleigh has made statements that hint he's chosen not to act on this knowledge. This could mean that, knowing about Luffy and Nika, he intentionally chose to nurture Luffy without revealing anything. We might see members of the Roger Pirates who know about Nika in the final chapters. It's possible that others like Gaban may make an appearance. Next up, let's dive into Vegapunk's role. When Vegapunk saw Luffy, he immediately referred to him as Nika, so it's a no-brainer that he's in the know. It's speculated that he stumbled upon the name in an ancient devil fruit encyclopedia. Vegapunk mentioned that the gum-gum fruit wasn't listed in the old devil fruit encyclopedia, but this also implies that there once existed an encyclopedia featuring the Nika fruit, which the government could have tampered with. Taking over O'Hara's research, he might have pieced together the truth about the Void Century, and now he could be quite knowledgeable about Nika. We might hear Vegapunk spill the beans on Nika pretty soon. Moving on to the government side, we have the Five Elders and Imu. Hints suggest that Imu could have been alive for 800 years, so naturally, they'd be familiar with Nika. And since the Five Elders have uttered the name, they definitely know something. With Saint Saturn, one of the Five Elders, present on Egghead and also featured in flashbacks, the narrative could soon explore the relationship between Nika and the government through the lens of the Five Elders. We might be gearing up for a showdown reminiscent of the battle 800 years ago, a clash between Nika and Imu. Lastly, let's focus on Joy Boy and Zunisha. As theorized earlier, Joy Boy could have been the previous Nika's awakened successor, which makes him, like Imu, very knowledgeable about Nika as a direct participant. And Zunisha, who had a comrade-like relationship with Joy Boy, surely knows about Nika too. We might see revelations about the crime Zunisha committed and the past relationship between these two. It's bound to be a pivotal event in the One Piece narrative, and I bet it'll be thoroughly illuminated. That's all for today. This channel posts summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video.